YouTube and F and True followers, JC Styles.
Brian Crazy.
We are here with the TNA Impact 1/20/2011 review.
Yeah, so we just got done watching TNA Impact. It was a pretty good show. Please stay tuned for the end of this video. We're going to have some picture-in-picture footage of the ending of Impact as it happened. Big happenings tonight on Impact. So we'll jump right into it. We start off with Kurt Angle cutting a promo in the ring. Then we see Jeff Jarrett come out. And then we see a bunch of uniformed police come out and escort Kurt Angle out of the building. That's going to lead into multiple more segments of the night, guys. So then we have a women's match. We see Mickie James go against Sarita, Velvet Sky, and Madison Rayne.
It was a pretty good knockouts match. I like the. My favorite part of the whole match was when Velvet Sky gets in the ring and Taz goes, "Let's the pigeons loose." I love that. It's really good. It was a really good match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fast paced. It was actually pretty decent from compared to the Raw Divas match Monday night.
Definitely.
Just the talent alone. We have Mickie James, Velvet Sky, Sarita, and
Madison Rayne.
So it was a fantastic match.
Now, don't mind this a little bit. It is almost midnight here in Connecticut. Me and JC have been up since early this morning.
And my voice is starting to crack a little bit.
Same here. It's been a long day. But we figured we would shoot this while it's still fresh in our minds, and we could give you the best possible review that we could. We don't want to give you, second-rate info here. So after this fantastic Divas match, by the way, Mickie James did pick up the win in this four-way contest.
Hardcore country.
Hardcore country all the way. Then Ric Flair and Rob Terry come out. Ric Flair cuts a promo pretty much talking about how great Terry is, this, that, and the other. Then we see Matt Morgan and Rob the Freak Terry in probably one of the shortest matches I've seen in a long time.
It was a filler. Definite filler. This match was less than 2 minutes. The bell rang, ding ding ding. I think he hit the carbon footprint, and that was it. And I think it was 1, 2, 3. I think that's all she wrote on that match.
Yeah, it was an extremely short contest. If you're going to try to set up a feud between Rob Terry and the Blueprint, that ain't the way to start it by any means. Then we cut into a promo in the back with AJ and Kazarian talking. AJ's talking about, you got to keep that X Division strap. That's your number one concern, this, that, and the other. Kazarian's kind of interested in what's going on with Eric Bischoff and the whole AJ situation. He says, don't stress it. It's all about fortune. Everything's good. Kazarian goes walking away, and
Crimson.
Amazing. Some of you guys might know him as Little Red.
Amazing Red's little brother. And if that's Amazing Red's little brother, then he must have ate his greens when he was a kid, because that dude is gigantic.
Gigantic. The word.
Basically starts choking AJ, similar to what they did to Abyss. He did to Abyss last week. Basically says, on February 3rd, they are coming, and no one could stop them. And which later on we come to a conclusion of that later in the night. And also AJ and Flair segment, which comes up a little bit later after the X Division match, I believe it was.
Yes, actually,
it was definitely after the X Division.
It definitely was after the X Division match. You are right. So after Crimson's attacks, note about Crimson too. If any of you guys who were watching the show noticed, did you notice he was dressed up in a suit?
Well, that's kind of at the end of the video.
No. When he attacked AJ.
Oh, yes. When he attacked the Abyss last week, he was wearing a suit, too.
He was wearing a suit. Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that, but I picked up on this week, and it's definitely...
Watch the footage that we have in the picture-in-picture.
It's definitely, moving towards... It will be there. It's not there yet. It will be there. Then we move into a Karen and Jeff segment. They come out together. They're announced, obviously, as Karen and Jeff Jarrett. There we go. Yeah. I'm a little tired here. Don't mind me, guys. I'm sorry. And then we see Kurt Angle attack.
Well, basically, Jeff comes out and he says, starts cutting a promo about Kurt's personal life, how he wasn't a man, how he wasn't a loving husband, how it was all about him. Karen starts talking about how back when he won the gold medal, how it was always, you know, she was the victim and how she was always a victim to his success and all this stuff. And then while she's talking in the ring, all the fans are chanting sloppy seconds, which I think is hilarious because, you know, it's funny because there's a guy out there right now who has my sloppy seconds, which is kind of funny. He'll never I don't think he'll ever see this video, but whatever. But it's kind of funny, and basically, like Brian said, Angle comes out, attacks, and kind of sets up for another promo later in the night. I mean, the vicious attack. Wish we had video footage of that happening. Basically, after a couple of low blows, Jarrett runs like with his tail tucked between his legs, like he always does, and I think that's what led into the next match, the X Division match.
Yep, the X Division match. It was we saw Kazarian defend against Jay Lethal. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Any match with Jay Lethal, I'll enjoy because I like Jay Lethal, whether he was pre-Macho Man, Black Machismo, or after, post Black Machismo. I still enjoy watching him wrestle. He still go. I just wish that they would kind of do a little bit more with him. The constant of him picking up the X Division title to drop it and then pick it up again, I think it's retarded. Just because of the fact that he's such a talented wrestler, and they keep undermining his success. Well, I think Kazarian was long overdue for a little bit of a push, though.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's called for him to have the X Division title, but I mean, right now, I have a feeling he's going to lose all the titles.
I mean, we like Kaz, but we like Lethal, so it can kind of go either way. But I think Kazarian is kind of deserving of a push. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, he is getting a push. I'm just saying that...
No. Not is he getting a push. Do you think he's deserving of the push he's getting?
He is deserving of the push, but I'm just thinking that, you know, I mean, you have a guy like Jay Lethal who picks the title up, and then he loses it to Robbie E, and then picks it up again from Robbie E, and then loses it a couple of weeks later to Kazarian.
By the way, Robbie E is fucking hilarious. I saw him in person. Every time he gets slammed, he flops like a fucking fish. It's funny shit. Moving on. We then saw Jeff Hardy go against Tommy Dreamer, which they keep booking Jeff Hardy in matches, and everybody but who needs to get to Jeff Hardy, who's Rob Van Dam.
Yeah. So this match was okay. I mean, it wasn't as best. It suits Jeff Hardy well because that's where he actually belongs. I mean, I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan. I always will be. I loved his tag team stuff with Jeff, with Matt in the early 90s, and even in the 2000s.
Late 90s.
Yeah, the late 90s and the early 2000s. And, you know, like I said, I'm a Jeff Hardy fan at heart. But right now, the whole heel thing that he's doing, it's good in a way because it's going with the current storyline. But I'm wondering how much regret he has doing this at the end of the night, because he went from being loved to being everyone's hero to being everyone's like kind of like almost everyone's like someone's superhero, like how everyone like looks at Rey Mysterio, or how people look at how the kids look at John Cena the night that he had to put the Nexus armband on, you know. But I don't know.
I don't know if Jeff Hardy was ever the hero in like the iconic stage of John Cena, though. I'm not trying to say John Cena's an icon, but I mean he has attained. I mean, dude, for the amount of status he's attained in professional wrestling, when professional wrestling has been in a decline, I mean, it's pretty impressive.
But if you think about it, though, you put John Cena in the ring, and you say everyone cheer for John Cena, you're going to have a mixed reaction. If you put Jeff Hardy in the same ring next to John Cena, and you say cheer for Jeff Hardy, everyone's going to go crazy.
Oh,
because there's not a lot of Jeff other than the fans who don't agree with his lifestyle outside of the ring with the constant problem with the drugs. Inside the ring, Jeff Hardy is the 100% fan favorite. I've never heard anyone boo Jeff Hardy when he wrestles, with the exception of when he turned heel.
I really don't, like you said, I really don't have any like real beef with Jeff Hardy. I got actually a chance to meet him and hold the Immortal title, and he was very friendly. And you'd be surprised how many people, heel or not, were lined up to meet this guy. It was, you know, I think, like JC said, it's good with what they're doing with the storyline. I mean, with the whole Immortal storyline, it's kind of surprising that they did pick Jeff Hardy out of all the possible people they could pick. But you got to also think TNA does kind of have a limited talent pool.
Yeah.
So they got to work with what they got, and I think they're doing a great job. And for all those people out there that try to say, "Oh, TNA sucks and WWE's better," well, the WWE is a billion-dollar corporation that has that budget. And TNA was a small start-off company who's attained a lot in their short time of being around. So before you go yapping your mouths, before you don't know what you're freaking talking about,
maybe you should sit down and watch the history of TNA year one.
And for the record,
or any of the Asylum years.
And for the record, I'm not speaking about any specific person. I'm just talking about all the jackasses out there that keep saying this.
Everyone basically what Brian's trying to say is he's not singling anybody out. He's talking to the group of them. He's not naming any names, but he's speaking to. You know who you guys are.
If I did want to name a name right now, I couldn't even name a name because you know what? I just put your dumb shit on the back burner. So moving on, we saw Jeff Hardy pick up the win over Tommy Dreamer in a pretty good contest. Then we see AJ and Flair in the backstage area cutting a promo. Flair's talking about AJ, you need to get iced. And this is right after AJ got choked out by Crimson.
He's like, I just got jumped by somebody. He's like, and he's screaming in my ear, he's choking me with a wire. He's like, they're coming. And Flair's like, what are you talking about? We're here. We're already here. We're they. We're here.
We're here. We're they.
It's ridiculous, but it's funny. And then Flair's like, I've been waiting 6 months to do this. Drink it. And AJ's sitting, he's like, I can't drink. It's burning my throat. It's burning my throat. I just got choked. And it was just like it was a funny segment. We kind of had it. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to talk about the Flair segment with Matt Morgan. The funny thing after the match, Flair got in the ring and started attacking.
Going back to earlier in the match,
started picking a fight with Matt Morgan, Ric Flair. And he's sitting there and he's basically chopping. It's like he's chopping a brick wall. And then you know how Flair, he's like, dude, and he's hitting him, and Matt Morgan just keeps walking to him, and he's just like. And Matt Morgan just keeps walking. And it's funny because I was kind of hoping to see him do that thing where he does with the elbows and then Flair just come walking out and just go like that. But that was a good segment. I think overall Impact was a pretty good.
Impact was pretty good. It really was. So we had a couple more segments to talk about real quick. Back to the AJ and Flair backstage segment. After that whole ice thing was cut, we see Kurt Angle attack with the baseball bat.
Yeah, we see him attack AJ.
He takes out AJ and he takes out Flair. And he chokes out Flair and says, I don't care what it takes, you will bring me Jeff Jarrett. And basically, he's choking the freaking life out of Ric Flair.
The thing though is like, Flair's like, I had nothing to do with it. It's not my idea. This whole thing is Jeff's idea. I had nothing to do with it. And he's like choking him, and he's like, you have everything to do with it. And I was like, this is really funny.
I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, it was freaking hilarious. And then we cut to Bischoff's office. And we see Bischoff, Jeff Jarrett, and Ric Flair all in the office. And Ric Flair's saying, you handle this. I'm not part of this. And Bischoff's like, you are part of this. And he says, I'm not part of this. Yeah. When have you ever seen Ric Flair really run away from a fight like that, though? Yeah. He wants no part of Kurt Angle, man. Can you blame him?
Then we come to the thing. He's like, get your gear on. You're meeting Kurt Angle in the middle of the square circle. So in the ring. So we go to the next match, which I think is Beer Money versus...
Nope. We actually went to a backstage segment before we got to the tag match. We saw Brian Kendrick trying to talk to Brother Ray, who's now been Bully Ray. I guess he's got ring gear to accompany it and everything else. New entrance video, this, that, and the other. He shoves Kendrick right into the frickin' locker. He hits the thing so hard, he's like, boom, right on the ground, just like that. And then we see him come down to the ring. We see Devon come down. He's trying to run away. We see Kendrick kind of get involved. And what was the big moment?
The big moment, basically, it was a beatdown. Brother Devon was left in the ring. Bully Ray put the steel chair on around Devon's neck.
Kind of sandwich like this.
Yeah, kind of like how they do on the ankle when they want to put somebody out for an injury. And he takes the chain and he just whacks it. Boom. And then you see Devon start to twitch and everything like that. And it just really was really selling it.
And it was really fucking loud too.
Hell yeah. And then he turns around and basically the ring cuts to the commercial of Kurt Angle walking, and how big is the Impact Zone? Because it seemed like every time they showed Kurt Angle, he was constantly walking.
Yeah, I know. Remember I made that comment? It was like, dude, it was like, they showed him, and that was like 15 minutes later, and he was still walking. And I understand they're down at Universal Studios, but I mean, come on, it's not one interjoined freaking building. I mean, it can only, maybe it does take 15 minutes to walk across the frickin' thing. The cops did carry him out, who knows? But, mind-boggling, right? So, into that tag match JC was talking about, we saw Beer Money go against
RVD and Mr. Anderson.
Give our boy CJ from ADTV a quick shout out. DVR,
the pot smoking show, and this match was just horrible all the way around. Beer Money wound up picking up the victory. I mean, I'm not jealous. I'm not gonna hate on Beer Money. No matter if they win the match clean or dirty, they're my boys. I wouldn't have a Beer Money shirt if I didn't like them.
Yeah, and, but basically they won the match. Like JC said, it was dirty. Matt and Jeff Hardy interfered.
Yeah, and we went into the segment where
the final segment is the
final segment. There's a picture-in-picture right up here.
Yeah.
Basically, Jeff Jarrett comes into the ring. Sends Kurt Angle's already in the ring. Jeff Jarrett comes walking out, and he sends Gunner and Murphy and whatever that other jackoff's name is, sends them into the ring.
You know what funny shit is? Tonight I finally figured out which one was which. Murphy is the tall one without the beard, and Gunner is the guy that looks like he could be Kurt Cobain.
Yes. And basically Kurt Angle just began to beat down. And then after a while they caught up with Kurt and they beat him down, and then that's when, lo and behold, Jeff Jarrett with his tail tucked between his leg, picking on a man who's already beaten and down in the ring, comes running in and starts beating him down, and then it goes back and forth. Then Kurt gets his win back and then just starts hauling ass like he normally does, as you can see up there. And then basically Kurt Angle comes out and is like, stop. And at this point, everyone from Immortal and Fortune come jumping into the ring. Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Beer Money, Kaz, AJ, Rick, and basically it was just an all-out mugging.
Oh yeah, it was like an NWO style mugging. I mean, it was brutal. They just took him out. I mean, that was it.
Yeah, and then Flair they show the entryway, and you see Abyss come walking out, and Abyss, it looked like something was wrong with Abyss, but it didn't. I didn't know if he was just doing his regular taunt like he does when he comes walking out.
Yeah, he came walking out. He did his taunt, and Flair says, "Yeah, come down here." He was like the only guy that wasn't at the quote unquote party.
And then he drops to both knees and kind of like just flops forward, and he's got Janice like literally stuck in his spine, like someone cracked him across the back with Janice.
He's impaled with Janice, guys.
Yes.
If you guys don't remember, Janice is that sick weapon. It is that 2x4 that's probably got easily 100 nails in it, if not more. I mean, this is what he attacked RVD with.
That's a lot worse than the barbed wire bat that McFoley used to carry.
Dude, do you remember what he did to RVD with that thing?
Yes. Well, again, all it really was just food, water, and food club, blood packets, and torn cigarettes.
Of course, but if we're going to preserve kayfabe for a minute,
yeah.
Do you remember what he did to RVD? Oh my God! You know what the funny thing is, and I try not to ruin it for her. My wife sometimes doesn't realize that this is all a show. Sometimes she thinks that some of these confrontations are just like a little like personal and stuff. Yes. And when that happened to RVD, she's like, "That didn't really happen, did it?" I was like, "Kate, what do you think?"
That at that moment that all set up for the whole they and Immortal thing. But
then we saw big thing we forgot. After Abyss collapsed, we see Crimson come out, and he screams right down at these guys, "Immortal! On February 3rd.
February 3rd, they're coming." And you hear Ric Flair. The whole audience is like completely deaf tone. Like you would never even realize there was like 1,500 people sitting in the crowd. And you just hear Flair he's clearly speaking into a mic. He's like, "What are you talking about? We're here. We're right here. What are you talking about?" He's like, "They're coming." He's like, "What are you talking about?" It's funny because they're using the "they" to promote. Basically, everyone knows by now the main event Mafia, and it's funny as hell because they're using the same gimmick But
they're just purely fucking with fortune and Immortal.
Yeah, they are.
It is so great, and we're finally going to get to see Kurt Angle come back. We're going to get to see him compete, and you know what? I don't know. Kurt just hasn't felt stale at all in 2010 or in the beginning of 2011. Kurt has just felt, natural. His in-ring ability has just been getting better. The matches all have been excellent. I mean, I have nothing negative to say.
So, overall impact, what would you give it out of 5? Let's rate it from.
Should we use the CJ?
0?
Should we use the CJ style scale of rating things? 0 to 5?
Yeah, 0 to 5.
Or should we use the former effing true scale of rating? 0 to 10?
Let's do.
Or should we do
styles?
Or should we do a composite score?
No. I would give it about I want to say about a solid. Say 3.5 isn't fair. I'd give it about a 4.
Wow, because I was going to say, maybe the bulk of the show you could give like a 3.5, but that ending, man.
That's what the ending makes a 4.0.
A 4, maybe even a 4 or 5. I mean, dude, the way Abyss came out, and I thought he was taunting, and he fell to the knees and went on his chest like Jay was talking about, it was pretty original. Have you really seen something quite like that?
Oh, no, not even in WWE.
Not even WWE. It was original. It felt good. Originality is what we need. And if TNA is going to start this year off this strong, I'm pretty impressed already.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see a good fight. Against all odds, it's February 13th. We will be doing predictions once they come out with a match card.
It's still 23, 24 days away.
Yeah, so possibly about a week and a half before the event, we'll post a prediction show. But February 13th, against all odds, I want to see at least a 4.5 overall pay-per-view score. I don't want to see 2.0s. I don't want to see a 1.5. I want to see a 4.5 or I'll give a courtesy. I want to see a 3.5 or higher pay-per-view. So
I think even settling at 3.5, I want to see something good. Oh, Genesis was phenomenal. Let's see something really good.
So for Effing True Wrestling, this has been our Impact review for 1/20/11. Check out our Q&A, which will be coming up after this, hopefully, and which is already actually shot. By this point in time, it's already shot. It's being cut and edited and put together, so we should have it up by morning. So check it out. You guys have all the weekend until. Oh, and by the way, we didn't do this at the end of the last Q&A video, but we are going to do Q&A at the end of every month. So possibly within the last week or so of the month. So you guys have from in between each Q&A show to send us your questions. We're going to try to keep it as recent as possible, current storylines, current gimmicks. So send us your questions.
Well, that's exactly what we did with the other Q&A video, not to interrupt you. Not only did we use the Q&A promo video that JC shot and all the questions contained within that, to base the video off of. We also went through all the comments, back to
at least back to Bound for Glory.
I don't think we went back.
No, not Bound for Glory. I mean back to our Genesis predictions.
Yeah, we went back to about Genesis because there was a couple day gap beyond there, and we didn't figure. So much has changed since that point. But so we wanted to make sure we incorporated anything at all that we saw. So I think you guys are going to be pretty interested. Everybody that's left a question, you guys are included. It is a long video, but it's.
Everyone was included that left us questions.
Yeah, and we went to
we went far. We went to infinity and beyond. If you want to talk.
And it's also shot in semi-high definition too. We tried out some new settings with some equipment tonight. So guys, tell us what you think. We are going to call it a wrap, I guess.
Yes, and we'll see you possibly Saturday night with us, or sometime Saturday or possibly maybe tomorrow night with the SmackDown review. Even though that we gave the spoilers, we're thinking about doing a review for every show like we used to do, and try to steer away from doing the spoilers. But I mean, even though the spoilers do generate us a lot of questions,
and the spoilers are usually. This is the thing about it too. Usually, I give out some quick SmackDown spoilers. They're usually very limited. Yeah, you get to find out kind of who wins the matches, but you don't get to find out really how.
Yeah.
In any, it's a tape show, so who knows that somewhere in the backstage, they're cutting promos that you haven't seen. There might be pieces that they shoot somewhere else that they just don't want to disclose. So check out the review. There might be some information that I missed or JC missed when he, threw it. And whatever have you.
For instance, sorry to cut you off, but this will be the last thing for the video. we used to go to a lot of SmackDowns at Mohegan Sun when they did the tapings up there, and one day they had a match. It was I think it was Tori Wilson and Victoria, I think, at the time. Or was Victoria against somebody? And the outcome, they didn't like how the way the outcome came. So at the very end of the show, before they put the ECW setup, they reshot the last couple of seconds of the match. So when you watch it on TV, you're watching the finalized product. But when you watch it live, you see all this stuff, all these different types of endings to the matches and stuff like that. So you don't get to see what the finished product does until you tune in on Friday. There was also a segment one year when I went when John Cena was the champion, the United States champion, and he did like this 2-minute great promo. And on TV they limited it to like about 30 to 35 seconds, and then they had a beatdown on the other guy in the ring, or a beatdown on John Cena by the cabinet. So you really didn't see the whole thing. You just saw WWE's version of 35 seconds because they have to fit it into a 2-hour show. Yeah,
exactly. They can only fit so much content.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Sure hope you did, guys. This has been our Impact review. Hopefully we'll see you as soon as tomorrow night. And for F and True Wrestling, Brian Crazy,
JC Styles, and you guys have yourself a fun night, a good night, and a fun weekend.
Sure do. Thanks for tuning in.